We've seen a lot of portable remotes in our days. Bluetooth page turners, RF page turners that require no Bluetooth. But here comes something interesting that combines the two technologies. Literally. This is the Mitre 2nd Gen, Bluetooth and RF remote control. Because they utilize both technologies, this gives them the ability to not only work on an average tablet/smartphone, but also work on non-Bluetooth enabled devices like ebook readers and Kindles, as Kindle's Bluetooth can only be used for audio purposes, not remote controls. So with much excitement, let's crack out some devices, open up the box, and see what this remote can do. Thank you to Mitre for sending us this sample. They've sent us two of them. We're going to do the white one just because it's probably going to look better in contrast to the devices we're going to use, like the Kindle, for example. Now, this does say Kindle, iPhone, iPad, tablet, etc., ebook reader. So they're covering all their bases with this dual technology out of the gates. So let us check it out. We've never opened this before. Things are just falling out of the package here. And, okay, wow, what is this? Oh, we have a wrist strap. That's pretty interesting, actually. You put your wrist through and secure it with this kind of tie down. You have a user manual with various pieces of information. Should be in multiple languages as well, including Korean, because that's where it comes from. And this right here is the RF side of things. This is going to be the RF module that you put on the screen. Now, the remote is made in China, but it is made with decent materials. It does have some pretty satisfying clicks and enough buttons to basically get you through whatever you need. You have the standard navigational buttons, a decision button, a back button, a home button, play, pause, volume up, down, and it looks like you have a brightness button. Now, whether that's going to actually link up to the unit itself is another side of things, because how RF works is that once you say OK, it just triggers an electrical charge that goes bzz, and it simulates a finger tap. Now, that's not going to integrate into the Kindle itself when we try it on an e-reader. I very much doubt the brightness is going to work on anything south of a smartphone, but let's check it out all the same. If you have seen many of our previous videos, you will know that although the Kindle does have Bluetooth, it is earmarked for audio processes only, which means unless you're doing a portable speaker, portable headphones, wireless headset, etc., Bluetooth is not going to work. But we are going to try this. We're going to turn it on. The light is on. We're going to press the Bluetooth button, and we are going to connect it to whatever we can see. We're going to rescan, and we're going to see what happens. Now, following the instructions, in English of course, it says that we have done it correctly, and how we know this is we have our phone as a control, and you will see there that the Mitre BTR 2nd is there. We are going to pair it, and unfortunately it is not even finding it on the Kindle. Now, we do have something that we can do for the RF side of things on the Kindle, but for now let's look at the actual remote on a tablet and a phone and see what we can see. So we have our phone here, and we're just going to play around with the actual Bluetooth side of things. So I'm going to press the brightness all the way up and the brightness all the way down. That perfectly works, no problem. We have a back button. We have our navigation. So if I go over to maybe our settings like this, we should be able to move around the screen. There we go. Now, there is something conflicting with the remote here. See, when I press up and down, it's thinking I'm doing the volume, but it's also commanding a cursor on the screen at the same time. So I can do volume up and down, but it's also doing the cursor at the same time. So it's a little bit wacky in that regard, and it looks like I can get away from that by double tapping to do a quick jump and then single tapping to do the volume, but it doesn't seem that there's any intermediary to that, so it's either all or nothing, and I don't have a whole lot of control with anything. Now, the back button and the home button works perfectly fine, so that's really no problem there, and we're going to be able to read books perfectly fine on this, which we're going to show you right now. And keeping informed with an ebook reader side of things, we're using an ebook reader. This is a V-Woods Mini, and you can see that we can control the brightness, we can press back, we can get back to a book, we can turn pages. I mean, this all works just incredibly well. We can move elements around on the screen. We can scroll up, we can scroll down. Can't really command click on anything. You can click on some things that are kind of in the way, but that cursor just doesn't really move around all that much. Now, this is going to be a good play pause when it comes to things like media and audio and stuff like that, but otherwise you're just gonna have to kind of deal with the 3 buttons at the bottom, and if there isn't something that you can kind of do, you're gonna have to mitigate that by using your hand as this kind of intermediary and say, oh, this darn remote, I'll just do it myself, and you touch the screen. But for the most part, when it comes to turning pages, it works quite well. It's very nice to hold in your hand. It's very ergonomic. Your thumb reaches all sides of it regardless of finger length. You can cheat it down, you can cheat it up depending on the way your hand goes. The brightness works perfectly fine, and the Bluetooth side of things, just there's really no negatives to it at all. But what we do need to see is the RF side of things. Now, unfortunately, the RF side of things is a little bit more complex, because not only do you need to make sure your unit is charged and that it is on, you also need to make sure this is charged and that it is on. So you have to turn that on the side right there. You'll see the light turn on. Now from here, you need to make sure it is on the red light, not the blue light. The blue light is Bluetooth. The red light is RF. Once you have all this, you can piece it all together. Once it is on, you can press right or left, and that will be the same thing. You're not going to be able to go right and then back for left. Left and right is just going to trigger as a command action. Now, how is this working? What is happening here? All this is doing, this module right here, is simulating you tapping the screen. Instead of me using the electricity from my brain to my fingertips to turn the page, this is acting on my behalf. If you look on the inside here, you will see that there is a small flex cable on the bottom side of this little pad. Now this pad is taking the reins from my finger and doing all the dirty work, but it matters where you do it. For example, if I latch this onto the top and then trigger it, boom, it's going to open as if I pressed the top, because that's where my fingerprint touch is landing. If I situate this on the left side, what's going to happen? It's going to go page back, because that's where it thinks my finger is. It's sending a little electronic charge to the receiver, and this allows it to take the helm away from my finger and do it electronically on my behalf. It's not without its flaws, because it is cumbersome, it does get in the way, and although the fit and finish has never been better on this unit, it is quite nice. The reality is that you do need this module somewhere on your screen where there is a hitbox. There must be a touch box somewhere out of the way that the Kindle or the device in question is going to allow you to press. Now, it is very unfortunate, not for MITRE, just for everyone, that the Kindle just doesn't accept Bluetooth in the traditional sense. If you have something like an Android tablet / Android e-reader, or you use a smartphone, you're all good because it's just more flexible. But when it comes down to it, the Kindle is just very, very hung up on audio only, for audiobooks, and basically accessibility for people that need that voice guidance. But other than that, the MITRE does work quite nice. It feels good, it looks good, it performs perfectly well, it does as advertised, and it's never been more functional with its dual use case, because it does now work with Bluetooth, and it does have that fallback of using RF even on devices where you can connect to Bluetooth. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down below, and thanks for watching.